El Gran Maja, late at night, in the deep South Pacific, a fishing crew sailed quietly through calm waters. Suddenly, the water ahead began to bubble strangely, as if something massive were moving beneath. At first, they thought it was ice, or a whale, but then a huge shape emerged from the darkness, longer than their boat. Its pale, glowing body drifted silently and the crew froze in fear. The creature didn't attack immediately. It followed the ship sliding beside them, its glowing eyes watching every move. Then, without warning, it lunged. Its enormous mouth snapped shut on the ship, tearing planks apart and dragging sailors into the icy depths. Within moments, the entire vessel was swallowed, leaving only silence and faint glowing eyes sinking into the dark ocean. El Gran Maja is imagined as a gigantic serpent-like monster, dark reddish-brown, with a long, winding body and rows of sharp teeth. Some say it has glowing spots along its body that lure prey closer, and only glimpses are ever visible, making it seem ghostly. El Gran Maja is said to live in remote parts of the Pacific Ocean, far from human eyes. Scientists call it mythical, likely inspired by sailor legends, but the story of a massive creature silently stalking and then devouring an entire crew keeps it one of the most frightening ocean myths of all time. The Bloop. In 1997, scientists listening to the deep ocean recorded a sound so loud it traveled across thousands of kilometers. It came from the South Pacific, one of the most empty places on Earth. The sound was not an earthquake, not a machine, and not any known animal. It was deep, slow, and rose and fell like something alive calling out from the darkness. When scientists studied the sound, they realized something frightening. If a living creature made it, that creature would need to be larger than a blue whale, the biggest animal ever known. This idea scared many people. The deep ocean is completely dark and no human eyes have ever seen most of it. People began imagining how the bloop might look. It was pictured as a huge, shadowy creature, bigger than any whale moving slowly through black water. Some imagined glowing eyes. Others imagined a body so large you could never see all of it at once, only parts passing by. In scary stories, the bloop does not attack with teeth or claws. It uses sound as a weapon. Its call shakes the water, makes ships tremble, and fills people with fear before they even know what is wrong. You would hear it long before you ever saw anything. Years later, scientists explained the sound as ice cracking near Antarctica, called icequakes. The explanation fits the data, but the fear remains because for years no one knew what made that sound. Ningen. One freezing night in the dark Antarctic waters, a research ship sailed quietly through the ice. Suddenly a pale shape surfaced beside the ship. It was enormous, longer than the vessel itself. At first the crew thought it was ice, but then it moved like it was alive. Slowly a smooth white arm rose from the water, and some sailors swore they saw a dark face staring at them, with empty eyes that seemed to pierce their minds. The creature followed the ship silently for minutes before sinking back into the black water. No splash, no noise, just a void, and the feeling that it was still watching. Ningen is described as a giant humanoid, entirely white with long arms and legs. Some accounts say it has a wide, expressionless mouth and hollow black eyes. Its ghostly, almost phantom-like body is rarely seen all at once, only glimpses sliding through the dark, icy sea. It does not attack with teeth or claws. Its terror comes from stalking quietly, gliding beneath ships, and sometimes touching the hull. The slow, silent approach creates fear long before anything happened. Ningen is said to live in the Southern Ocean near Antarctica, one of the coldest and least explored places on Earth. Scientists think sightings may be whales, seals, or icebergs seen in poor light, but the legend endures. The idea of a massive humanoid silently watching from the black, freezing waters is enough to terrify anyone. Charybdis. Long ago, sailors feared a deadly place in the sea where the water could turn against them without warning. In the Strait of Messina between Italy and Sicily, a ship once sailed through calm waters when suddenly the sea beneath it began to pull downward. The water started spinning faster and faster like the ocean was opening a giant mouth. Sailors screamed and tried to escape, but the whirlpool grew stronger and dragged the entire ship into the depths, swallowing it completely. Within moments, nothing was left but spinning water and silence. Charybdis is not imagined as a normal monster with a body. Instead, she is seen as a living whirlpool, a huge spinning hole in the ocean. In some myths, she was once a sea nymph, cursed by the gods and turned into this deadly force. Her mouth is the swirling water itself, endlessly hungry and impossible to fight. Charybdis attacks by sucking massive amounts of water downward, creating violent whirlpools several times a day. Anything that comes too close, ships, sailors, or debris, is pulled in and crushed by the spinning sea. There is no warning and no escape once the pull begins. She is said to live in the Strait of Messina, directly opposite another monster, Scylla. Sailors were forced to choose between sailing too close to Charybdis or facing Scylla instead, making the journey extremely dangerous. Scylla. One night, a ship tried to pass through a narrow sea passage feared by sailors. The water was dark and silent. Suddenly, without warning, 6 long necks shot out from a rocky cliff, each ending in a snapping mouth filled with sharp teeth. Before anyone could react, the monster snatched 6 sailors one by one, dragging them screaming into the sea. The crew could do nothing but watch as the heads vanished back into the rocks, leaving only silence and fear behind. Scylla is described as a horrifying sea monster with 6 long necks, and each head has 3 rows of razor-sharp teeth. She also has 12 dangling feet and lives hidden inside dark sea caves along steep cliffs. Some stories describe parts of her body as dog-like, making her look even more unnatural and frightening. Her attack style is sudden and brutal. Scylla does not chase ships. She waits silently in her cave and strikes only when a ship comes close. Her heads move fast, grabbing sailors from the deck and pulling them into the water before anyone can fight back. Once she attacks, escape is almost impossible. Scylla is said to live in the Strait of Messina between Italy and Sicily. On the opposite side of the strait lives Charybdis, the deadly whirlpool. Sailors were forced to choose which danger to face, knowing they could not avoid both. Umibōzu. Late at night, when the sea is calm and silent, sailors say a dark shape slowly rises from the water. At first, it looks like a rock floating nearby, but then it moves and starts following the ship. There is no wind, no waves, just fear. The shape comes closer and taller until it stands over the deck. Before anyone can react, huge waves crash into the ship. In seconds, the vessel disappears, and by morning, the ocean looks peaceful again, as if nothing ever happened. Umibōzu is described as a giant, human-like shadow coming out of the sea. It has a round, bald head, a dark black body, and glowing eyes that stare without emotion. Its size is enormous, often bigger than the ship itself. The lower part of its body blends into the water, making it look like the ocean itself has taken human form. Instead of attacking with teeth or claws, Umibōzu uses the sea as its weapon. It creates massive waves, tips ships over, and floods them slowly. Legends say it sometimes asks sailors for a barrel, and if they give the wrong one, it becomes angry and destroys the ship on purpose. Umibōzu comes from Japanese folklore and is said to appear in seas around Japan, especially in the Pacific Ocean. It usually shows up at night during calm weather when sailors feel safe and least expect danger. Aspidochelone. The crew had been lost at sea for days when an island suddenly appeared. Its surface looked dry and solid, like real land. Desperate, the sailors dropped anchor and climbed onto it, lighting fires and resting at last. Then the ground began to shake. Cracks spread under their feet as the island slowly started to sink. Screams filled the air as the fires slid into the sea. The anchor chains pulled tight and dragged the ship down as the creature dove, swallowing the sailors and the ship together. Moments later, the ocean was empty again. Aspidochelone is described as a gigantic sea creature shaped like an enormous turtle or whale. Its back is so wide and rough that it looks exactly like an island. Sand, rocks, and plants cling to its shell, making it impossible to tell it apart from real land until it moves. Aspidochelone does not chase ships. It kills through deception. It stays perfectly still, letting sailors land on its back. When they light fires or drop anchors, it suddenly dives underwater, creating strong currents that pull everything down into the deep. This creature comes from ancient medieval and Middle Eastern sea legends and was believed to live in vast, unknown oceans where ships often disappeared. The ocean is extremely dangerous, and by now, you've probably realized it in this video. So, it's better to avoid most of the seas. Drop your unique ideas in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe,